Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
You got questions? I don't know. Maybe there's some answers somewhere in here. I don't know. We'll find out, won't we?
Oh, there's absolutely answers. Whether or not you're satisfied with them, we cannot guarantee.
You may not like the answers, but that's a you problem. Well, it's Wednesday now, and that means we got more priority Q&A on deck. So, without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and jump right on into it. Start off with a question from Jube. I recently got the opportunity to explain the entire story of Sonic Adventure and Shadow the Hedgehog to a friend of mine. Boy, that must have taken some time. Including Shadow's full character arc. Though he enjoyed it, I did embellish some character moments and details to make the story seem more grandiose than it was. I even included some theories around chaos and speculated what the relationship between Shadow and Maria was like on the arc. That's not to say the story isn't as epic as I described it, but I do feel the dated graphics and presentation of these games hold the story back, and we end up remembering the narrative as stronger than it was presented. Do you share similar notions of these games, or is there another franchise where you remember the story is stronger than it was, or more than the sum of its parts?
It's 50-50. Because on the one hand, there's a reason why we remember Adventure and Adventure 2 and even Shadow's story is because it did have those high points. But there is a fairly decent amount of rose-tinted glasses wearing going on, looking back on it. Especially in some circles. And I am as guilty as anyone else, to be perfectly honest. But there's a reason why we are looking back at it. If it wasn't good to begin with, we wouldn't bother looking back. So there is stuff there, and yes, maybe we remember it as the sum of its parts rather than, the minutia, like Shadow pointing out that Rouge the Bat is that famous spy, Rouge the Bat. Shock. Gasp.
Who? Who? I mean,
and honestly, the one that I most recently experienced that honestly hurt the worst was the 90s X-Men cartoon.
Oh,
Kyle, I loved that show. That was so freaking hype. Scenes and lines, forever burned into my memory. And it came out on Disney Plus. I'm like, oh yeah, gonna go back and enjoy this again. And it's like, ooh,
yeah.
Get out the charcuterie board because there's a lot of cheese.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's X-Men though. What do you expect?
All right.
Well, I mean, it's 90s Marvel. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Also very cheesy, the Spider-Man 90s cartoon.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. But that one I wasn't as fond of, so that one doesn't hurt as bad. However, Gargoyle still holds up.
Yes. Yes,
it's very much a product of its time. There are the occasional rough edges, but it holds up very well. So that's nice.
Yeah. It's too bad Disney doesn't seem to want to do anything with it other than just re-release it every once in a while.
And it was a while back, but I did remember going back to Gummy Bears because I, loved that as a kid. And that also had a pretty decent shelf life. It was still charming. It still felt like a solid production overall.
Yeah, and DuckTales does too. Most of those old Disney cartoons do. Like Goof Troop is all right. Maybe not Quack Pack so much, but that's okay. I don't know if it was held up when it was new, to be fair, really. I mean, it's okay, but it's not. It's not okay. It's okay, but it's not okay. But, sometimes it happens. Everyone can't be a banger. Sometimes you gotta make a few duds. Here's a question from Jamal S. What do you think of giving Sonic, Tails, Amy, Knuckles, Shadow, Rouge, and Omega a time skip in the IDW comics? What do you think it could be in the future?
No. Absolutely not.
You did that already.
Well, that one...
Nobody liked it.
That one was kind of already served up.
But that one you were kind of...
I inherited that.
Yeah, you were stuck with it.
And I don't know, if there was going to be a time skip, I would want it to be brand wide. I would want it to be the next step in the Sonic narrative. We had classic, modern began with, adventure in 99, and then this time skip marks the new era, the postmodern Sonic, if you will.
Yeah, but Sonic's still 15. Always is. That's why it's funny. When you say classic Sonic is in the same timeline as modern Sonic, because Sonic's still 15. He's been 15 the whole time. Everything's happened.
Been a very, very long month between the last classic game and the latest modern.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of stuff that went down in the 2 months between Sonic 1 and Frontiers. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, the 6 months war in Forces was the longest week you can imagine. But it's always fun to do a what if future exploration thing. But at this juncture, I don't want to devote that kind of creativity and time and effort to a what if. I would rather spend that time exploring the present that we have now. And if there is a, after storyline, I would want it to be something that went somewhere, something that had some longevity to it, and not just a what if future.
Well, Omega's a robot, so presumably he wouldn't change very much, unless he went through like some serious damage or something,
Yeah, maybe he gets an upgraded chassis.
Maybe
he has a new perspective on life. Maybe he gets infused with Dark Gaia energy and turns all fuzzy, and now he's the new Werehog. Same voice delivery, just in a Werehog body.
Not sure if want. Well, we got a question here from Happy Times. Issue 50 gave us Belle confronting Eggman, but she never got to really say anything meaningful to Starline or contribute to his defeat, just passively watch him die. While this was likely to establish that Eggman on his own could beat him both physically and spiritually, it seemed like Starline had been doing more than Eggman to torment Belle in the previous arcs. From being the one to turn Mr. Tinker back to Eggman, to kidnapping her in Zeddy Hunt, to ordering the fire in Trial by Fire, even if Belle didn't know he was the one responsible, to causing the Badnik summoning that took control of her and Motobud, and now you can't really do anything more with the two in the future unless Starline's death gets retconned. If you could have put in a way for Belle to get back at Starline as a little more catharsis before his demise in a way that fits her character, how would you have done it?
You're not wrong, but 50 was built more on the confrontations that were driving the characters, and Starline's arc was ending with his confrontation with Eggman. And in that context, Belle is a footnote in his story. He's a major problem in her story, but this wasn't her story. We were telling the end of Starline's, basically, and setting up his legacy to go on from there. When drafting the story, I did consult Evan on how Belle should react, and there was a moment in some of the early drafts where it was kind of more of she let Starline get smushed, like didn't really care that he became pudding. And as much as that kind of gave her closure to it, like all that he did to her and she in return did nothing to help save him, didn't quite fit. It made sense, sure, but neither of us really felt like it was really part of Belle's character to be that cold. Not that she would forgive him or even like him, but she wouldn't be the type of person to do that. She would still try to say, hey, move, you're about to get thumped. And then you got thumped. And, it's kind of disturbing to see someone get smushed, but she's not going to lose sleep over it if she sleeps. We asked that question last episode.
We don't know.
It's, in a way, it's kind of closure for her because all of the misery that he caused, she saw firsthand that it was now at an end. It wasn't focused on her, but that's because it just wasn't her story in this particular instance.
Right.
And before this gets misinterpreted, no, there is not a deleted scene. There is not a different draft of the script that will be leaked one day. I talked it over with Evan, separately. It's like, hey, what do you think of this? And, didn't write it that way. There isn't like a drawn panel of Belle going, ha ha ha, you're jelly. It was a concept.
I do want to see that now, though. That's very funny.
Well, that's up to the fan artists.
All right. I'm not laughing at Starline fans with that, by the way. I'm just laughing at the scenario. So sorry to you Starline fans out there. I know there are many of you. And I, too, also appreciate the character. He's a very fun character, and I like him, even though he's a hateful, horrible person. But
he was a delight.
But he is, yeah. I mean, he's still a lot of fun in a horrible way. Here's a question from Frost the White Lion. Wait, there's a Sonic character referencing gadget hack rants from Rescue Rangers in the comics? When and where?
That sounds familiar.
I'm guessing it's a background element, but
maybe
I'm not sure.
It wasn't one of my Easter eggs.
Those dang artists, they're up to something.
If you know what it is, comment below.
If you know when it was, I don't know when. I am finding that it happened in issue 37. This is from the Sonic News Network wiki. A background character resembling Gadget Hack Wrench from Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers is seen walking in front of the shop below Sonic and his friends in the third panel on page 3.
Oh, there we go.
So there you go. Check that out.
If you knew that, comment below. Don't undercut my call to action, Kyle. Metrics.
Put comments in there. Put your comments in there. Do it. Put all your comments in there. It doesn't matter what they are. Positive, negative, I don't care. Push the down vote. Push the up vote. As long as you're pushing the buttons, that's all that matters. Here's a question from FMS Draws. So I gotta ask y'all, any interesting takes on Deltarune's Spamton sweepstakes? In case you haven't heard, for Undertale's anniversary, Toby Fox and Fangamer held a sweepstakes themed around Spamton.
I missed out on that entirely. Like, I saw a slew of Spamton fan art. I'm like,
yeah.
I wonder why that's popular again. And then saw some mention of a sweepstakes. I'm like, what sweepstakes? And now here's your question. So I missed that boat entirely.
Well, hey, you know what? They raised $322,000 for Child's Play, so that's pretty cool.
Marvelous. That is excellent.
Yep. And they were giving away a lot of stuff. Spamton's old socks. The championship belt. They were giving away Spamton toilet paper. I hope whoever won that uses it.
Unlike my personality, I hope it doesn't rub you the wrong way.
Spamton. Spamton's body pillow. Yep. Wow, someone paid $22,100 for Spamton as the Mona Lisa. Brilliant. I like this webpage. It's deltarune.com/sweepstakes. This is straight out of the 90s. It's got rotating GIFs and everything, man. Yes, I pronounce it GIFs. Get over it. GIF over it. Glorious. Leave it to Toby Fox. Crazy guy. We got a question here from Fang. Ian, I must know this. Would you ever bring back the Werehog? If so, how would you approach it?
Maybe. Mostly because it does have... Well, Here's the thing. How do you define Werehog? Because it's Sonic, but he's so iconically separate as an identity, it almost exists as his own character. I mean, visually, for sure, but that would be the question, is how do you reintroduce Werehog? Is it going to be an extension of Sonic again? Is it going to be a perpetual state of being for him? Or do you find a way to decouple it from Sonic so that Werehog can exist in his own right? You know,
Portal.
do you have another hedgehog?
Portal from Sonic Adventure Time opens up and out falls the Werehog. Not Sonic Adventure Time, Sonic Unleashed Time. And out falls the Werehog. There we go. So now there's Werehog just in brand new modern world.
You say Sonic Adventure Time, and I'm imagining Sonic being Finn and Werehog being Jake. And that's... Are we going to get Eggman as Ice King? How far are we going with this?
That's not what I was going for, but sure. I meant Unleashed, not World Adventure. Or I did mean World Adventure, not regular adventure.
So I don't know. It would depend a lot on what was the long-term plan for Werehog. Is he going to be a regular member of the cast? Then I feel like you need to find another way to introduce a separate Werehog and explore that as a character. If you're just doing it as, you know, the Unleashed anniversary's coming up, do a one-off goof story, then, you know, a vent in the earth opens up, Sonic gets a face full of dark guy, and oops, he's all boogity again. Look out, Sonic's a fruit brute. Oh, now he's cured by the end of the 5-page story. Well, that was fun. You know, it really depends on the context.
Yeah. Here's a question from Endbend. Throughout the various desert stages in Sonic Adventure 2, there's Echidna and Emerald iconography, with statues in Hidden Base, inscriptions in Dry Lagoon, etc. Would it be likely that this may have been one of the areas subjugated by the Knuckles clan in the past, or maybe another Echidna clan's home turf entirely? SA2 doesn't go at all into Echidna lore like SA1 did, but I've always found it fascinating.
This is pure theory craft on my end, okay?
Do
not take this as word of God or knowing smile or any of that. This is just me being a Sonic nerd.
It's hard to say whether they intended it to be anything or if it was just a cool visual thing. But anyway, go ahead.
We have the Knuckles tribe is very clearly Mayan, Incan, Mesoamerican themed.
Mm-hmm.
And we have similar structures to that in Marble Garden.
Mm-hmm.
And to an extent, some other ruins in Angel Island. But we have clearly Egyptian-style stuff in Sandopolis, which is then shown in the desert regions of SA2. Now, we know that the Knuckles tribe was situated in the landmass that became Angel Island. And we know that all the Egyptian stuff is on the planet itself, which is no longer, you know, attached to Angel Island. So, and we know that they were going for the Chaos Emeralds because they needed the power to defeat their enemies. Ergo, I postulate that the Egyptian Echidnas were a separate tribe, that they were at war with the Knuckles tribe, and that when Angel Island went up into the air, it took like one of the Egyptian tribes, I don't know, advanced bases, colonies, whatever, that is now Sandopolis. But everything else is the remains of the Knuckles tribe, which would beg the question, what happened to the Egyptian tribe? Did they get smacked around by Perfect Chaos 2 before he was contained? Did something else happen? Is there more Echidnas to be found? I don't know. This is all me just spinning nonsense and headcanon, but I want to see it.
So what you're saying is there's the Knuckles clan, and then there's the Kneecaps clan. Got it. Perfect. Figured it out. Here's one from Exidel. Will we ever get a retelling of the reason as to why Wisps are still on Sonic's world? I know the reason has been stated before, but to my knowledge, this was in the now-dead Sonic mobile game, Sonic Runners. Does Sega simply assume that people remember the plot point of the mobile game? They only care to support for a single calendar year before putting it down like Old Yeller?
I think the explanation is just some of them stayed. I don't think it's more complicated than that. And if they have the ability to move their planet back into orbit, presumably they would have enough power to zip between planets anyway. So maybe they just come in for a visit. Like it's a long drive to Grandma's, but hey, we're here.
They're just good old Wisp truckers, breaker 19, breaker 19. We got a truck full of hyper go on coming in hot. Oh, man. Yeah, I think it's kind of weird that you could say it's Sonic Runners is no longer canon. But I don't know. There were a lot of things in that game that didn't quite fit. But at the same time, it also explained some things in surprising ways. So,
I mean, I freaking adore the original Sonic Runners, but it's like dead.
yeah.
You can't play it anymore.
There's
It's gone.
There's a lot of things that are dead that they're still referencing, Ian.
All right.
And I mean, it's not dead. It's officially dead, yes, but you can still play it. It's just not official.
Yeah, those are fan efforts.
Yes.
So, no, it's dead.
Technically, yes. But also, no.
What is dead can never die.
Not in this fandom. And our last question before we take a break is from Dove. Guys, Star Wars Visions gave us a bunny Jedi. Ian, when does Vanilla reveal she is a Jedi in hiding and Cream is her Padawan? Make it happen. Also, please and thank you.
Vanny-Wan Kenobi. That isn't a name she's heard in a long time. As Cream stares down the Emperor, she throws down her lightsaber. You failed, Your Majesty. I am a Jedi like my mother before me. Cheese also gets like a teeny tiny Jedi robe. He doesn't have a lightsaber, it's a glow stick, but he still uses it with earnest.
That's right. Sounds
It's
great.
finally revealed that it's not actually Cheese hurling himself at Cream's command. She's force throwing that chow.
I'd believe that.
Flapping ears allowing her to fly? That makes no sense. The Force? There you go.
Perfect. It explains
Lock
everything.
Lock ears in attack formation. Throws Cheese down the garbage chute of the Death Egg. Boom!
Oh, he's fine. Just launches him. She launches him into the exhaust port.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, that's exactly what would happen. That's my new headcanon now.
She goes off to the swamps to find the great master to train her to be a proper Jedi. She finds someone that doesn't look like a Jedi at all. Away with your weapon. I mean you no harm. I'm wondering, why are you here?
It's him. It's him.
Plot twist, it's actually Froggy. He's using Big as an avatar. He's just speaking through the Force.
Oh, right.
Judge me by your size, do you?
Eventually, Froggy just kind of gives up on puppeting Big and just, when he turns into the more serious character, he suddenly, becomes a talking frog.
It's really tragic when the ice storm hits and she has to live inside of Big's carcass for warmth.
No!
Thought you smelled bad on the outside.
No! Big can't die. How could you kill him like that? No.
Can't die. Strong he is with the Force, but not that strong.
How dare you? Oh.
Don't worry, he gets recast as Jabba later.
Okay, good.
One biggie nobada.
Belle is C-3PO.
All right, if we keep this up, we're going to recast the entire movie. We're going to take a break.
All right, we'll do that, and then we'll see you. And we're back. Here's a question from Classic Sonic. Although we've seen countless attempts before, such as trying to nuke Station Square, would you say Eggman has killed before, even off-screen?
The official word, as far as I'm aware, is that no, no one has ever died to Eggman's exploits. To which I say, malarkey. Okay, Perfect Chaos drowned Station Square. There was going to be somebody caught in that. But let's just pretend for funsies that it's a coastal city and they're all prepared to deal with massive flooding at the drop of a hat. The Station Squaresvilleers are just that adept. Okay, fine. When Dark Gaia split the planet into pieces, large chunks just dropped into the Earth's core. Lots of things fell in there, and a lot of them were screaming, I'm willing to bet you.
You have no proof of that?
I do not. That is not the official word, but come on.
Yeah. What about like freaking Starline? What's the official word on Starline? Did he just die? He just happened to get crushed by rocks conveniently?
No, Eggman didn't do it, clearly. He had already left the room.
The rocks did it. Okay, fine. All right, whatever. Of course he's killed. I mean, didn't Knuckles have literally a bunch of casualties from Operation Big Wave? Like, even the hero characters have murdered.
Thing is, there seems to be some major differences between the English and Japanese scripts and forces, so right. I don't know what is to be considered canon in that regard. So
yeah. It makes me wonder what Frontiers is going to look like on that.
That will be interesting. That will be interesting, because they have said straight up they rewrote the script for Japanese audiences. So I wonder if it'll just be down to, small interpretations, different wording, or if it will be different. I don't know. We'll find out together.
Yeah. There seems to be two different interpretations of Sonic's character depending on whether you're going by Japanese or English script. So at this point, we don't know. We'll find out though. And then we'll argue about it until forever. It will never end. Here's a question from Chaos Sonic 1. I know you don't like Dark Supersonic from the very short period of him, but I think the reason why he became famous for the short term we saw him is because 1, it is a change of pace for Sonic X, and 2, it's the first time we've seen a negative aspect of the Chaos energy on Sonic. I don't see a question in here.
No, but thank you for supporting the show all the same. Let me just be clear. I don't have anything against Dark Supersonic himself or the concept. I'm just tired of the hype over a non-moment. Yes, it was there for, 15 seconds total? It was the presentation of a concept. It wasn't a character. It wasn't a moment. It wasn't an arc. It was just kind of let's see if this goes anywhere, and it's done. And I'm tired of folks treating it like it was this big epic moment that should be recorded for all times, this staked claim within the Sonic lore, and it's like it wasn't. It could have been neat, but we got more Dark Spine Sonic, for pity's sake. Like I'm basically, it's just me being a curmudgeon.
Listen, Ian, if the fan base didn't get whipped up about non-moments and getting hyped about nothing, there wouldn't be anything. We can't have that. It'd just be sad all the time because nothing ever happens. I gotta get excited about something, even if it's nothing. Right?
That's a way to look at it, I suppose.
I'm not saying it's a good thing. It's just the facts of the matter, I suppose. Here's one from Batman69LOL. In Sonic 2, Eggman was able to outrun or at least keep the same distance from Sonic in the Death Egg Zone, and Eggman is pretty fast in the Sonic Adventure 2 Chow Garden section. Is Eggman secretly a speedster, and is he as fast or faster than Sonic? If so, why does he never brag about this to Sonic?
Wouldn't it be funny if he just assumes all people are that fast, and he thinks that's not worth gloating over? Or he knows he's quick, but he can't surpass Sonic, so he's just, not calling attention to it. He doesn't want to be known as the guy who's like half as fast or almost as fast as Sonic. No, don't pay attention to that. Pay attention to his huge ego, genius, creations, moons. As for, canonical, I don't know. It's kind of a running gag. Running gag at this point.
Literally. Yeah. I figured it was just kind of like a gameplay representation of things rather than actual, this is canonically how fast he is. I mean, look at how many times Amy has been a speedster.
Yeah.
And then versus the time she hasn't been a speedster, it's consistency. Who needs it?
Sometimes you just got to accept it's part of the game.
Yep. Eggman is as fast as SEGA tells him to be. Here's a question from Axis. Since the Sonic Channel stories from 2021 are canon, where would you put them chronologically in the series? If they are meant to take place after Sonic Forces, then where would you fit them in the Sonic IDW timeline?
I have to go through it again just to be doubly sure, but I think they'd probably fit pre-Forces without mucking anything up too bad. Again, have to go through it just to be sure. I don't think they were written with any particular point in the timeline in mind, but that's kind of par for the course.
Apparently Cream's story has the mass-produced Death Egg robots from Forces, though.
Really? Okay.
He could be doing that before the events of Forces, too. I mean...
Arguably. Or there's bound to be some downtime in the IDW book where conceivably it can fit in there. I seethed, I railed against the concept of loose continuity back in the day, but older, wiser me, I can kind of see why it's a necessary thing.
I mean, at this point, it's going to be almost impossible to reconcile all of the different parts without retconning something. So, I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. There's too many separate moving parts of the franchise to try and make sure everything absolutely fits airtight. So, here's one from Arcfighter. Do you think there's any mileage you and the IDW crew could get out of Metal Sonic Mach 3.0, Eggman Nega's version of Metal Sonic? I know there isn't much to go off of since he only appeared in one game, Rivals 2, but since he has shown up again in Sonic Speed Simulator and seems to have slightly different personality quirks than regular Metal, I was curious.
Probably not, because 3.0 is tied pretty closely to Eggman Nega. That's like his kind of defining role. Can't think of any particular differences between him and regular Metal, but it's been a while. I'm sure there's something in there.
Chat is screaming Shard.
Shard was visually inspired by 3.0, sure, but they're not remotely the same character. And Speed Battle Forces, what's it called? The really fun game. It's non-canon, which is great because they are free to do whatever they want to, and it's just fun.
Yeah, but no, they're talking about the Roblox game.
Sonic yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, okay. I was thinking you were talking about Sonic Forces Speed Battle, the mobile game.
No. Speed Simulator. I blanked on the name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're free to just have fun with stuff, and that's so refreshing. Mm-hmm. I really sit down and just play the bloody thing. If I had time.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's like I don't know what is all involved with even installing Roblox. Like, how big is it? Is it a gigantic game? I don't even know.
No idea.
I don't know. I know it's like a bunch of different games. Maybe just download each game you want. So,
but to the point of the question, I don't know if 3.0 brings anything significant enough to the table to go through all that, but that's me saying that right now. That could change later. Yeah. And granted, that black and gold paint job is kind of the excuse to bring it, because that is a sick looking robot, but visuals can't be everything.
Black and gold is a great color scheme. Not gonna lie. Works real well. Here's a question from Alphamon or Yukin. In Imposter Syndrome number 3, it was shown that apparently before he created Surge and Kit, Dr. Starline was apparently working on his own robot. Was this originally meant to be his own version of Metal Sonic? How far did he get into completing it before he shifted his focus? Is it still around, or did he scrap it completely?
No, that was the endoskeleton or the prototype of the endoskeleton that went on to be implanted into Surge and Kit. He was already working with their designs in mind. Not them specifically, just the general idea of the endoskeleton enhancement. Presumably there might still be that endoskeleton, sitting in a box somewhere, but it's not a standalone autonomous machine. It was just meant to be a better solution to something like Metal Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
It was a component. It was not the finished product.
Interesting. Alex GS has a question. The green speedsters are ready to race. Speedy, Swifty, Jet, Surge, and Scourge are all lined up. How will they fare against one another? And how about Yoshi, who has humbly decided to join them? Green light, go.
Well, see, Scourge takes a look at the lineup. He doesn't know what that bumpy dinosaur is. He looks kind of soft. He doesn't care. But Speedy, he needs that flight harness. Swifty needs the skateboard, and Jet needs his extreme gear. So straight out of the gate, he's going to start attacking their gear, because the minute that's busted, he's free and clear. Except they're not going to go down without a fight, so while they're all tussling, Yoshi just kind of runs ahead and wins.
Well, yeah, of course, he's the hero.
And then Scourge catches up, mad as fire that he got punked in his own scheme, tries to spin dash him, Yoshi eats him, poops out an egg, and tosses him off into the horizon.
And where's Surge in all of this?
Laughing her ass off from the stands.
Oh, okay. She just gave up and just started watching it because it was more entertaining.
Well, Scourge is going to confide in her on it. Like, look at these lamos. They need gear to run. Oh, I got an idea. And Surge is like, yeah, you do that. I want to be over here, big boy, with the camcorder.
Where's Bean? Is he a speedster? Is he fast enough?
No, he's waiting for his honorable duel with Yoshi after the race.
Oh, okay.
They have to throw things at each other.
Yeah. And whoever is holding it when it explodes loses.
Mm-hmm. It's like hot potato, but for keeps.
Yeah. Yeah, can't forget about Green Knuckles, too.
No, we can safely forget about that.
Okay. I will never forget about that. I will never forget. Alex Arts here has a question. Sonic's favorite food is chili dogs, Tails, Mints, Knuckles, Grapes, Shadow, Pizza, Doritos, Snickers, Hot Pockets. What about Eggman and Amy? Eggman in particular interests me. Do you think he's a gourmet fine diner or a cereal fast food binger?
Amy's official favorite food is baked sweets. Cakes and cupcakes and muffins and that kind of thing. She likes to bake.
Cookies.
Yeah.
I like cookies.
It's sometimes said as ice cream, but I think that's just getting mixed with cream, because cream's favorite thing is ice cream. But that's neither here nor there.
Convenient.
Eggman he's a bit of a foodie, especially if we go by Sonic Unleashed. It's just he has very particular tastes, and none of them are good. Like, he considers himself a bit of a gourmand. He has his own personal take on just about everything, but it's all oily and nasty tasting and just vile. But he loves it.
He had a sub sandwich at one time.
Yeah, but how old was that lunch meat? We don't know. Is that like Subway bread that's not technically bread?
No, it's cake. So Amy should like it.
And we know he doesn't go small with the portions, because he had that gigantic rainbow-colored shaved ice treat in the one bit of art. He had Cubot bring him an entire family meal of fried chicken and another piece of art. The man's got a big eating game.
As he should, dang it.
He needs those calories to outrun Sonic.
Yeah. Chat says Amy has diabetes. Well, luckily, diabetes does not seem to exist in Sonic's world, so I think she's okay.
Yeah. She's active, though.
She is.
She knows to keep it in moderation, and she's active.
Yes.
She doesn't eat a whole cake by herself in one sitting.
Not every day.
No. She makes something to share with everybody, has a reasonable slice, and is an active, well-balanced diet girl. She knows how to take care of herself.
Yeah. I mean, better role model than either of us. Or Eggman.
By a mile.
Oh, boy. Oh, who likes the Totinos? Shadow says it's just pizza, but I mean, Totinos, the official food of Sonic Mania.
A pizza in a pocket? You could eat that anytime.
Is this what you wanted, Maria? A pizza? And our last question for this episode comes to us courtesy of OzJam. Retcons. How do you guys view this divisive writing decision in media in general? And do you have any favorites that help expand the stories in ways that make them more interesting? The opposite also applies to stories that were ruined because of it as well. Challenge. No Star Wars. Too easy. Next time, we'll discuss the famous trope that is named after a popular yellow Christian character. Until then, bye diddly bo, bumblerinos.
So, let's belabor this point, shall we? Retcon is short for retroactive continuity, which would mean any kind of canonical narrative that is added after the fact of the present narrative. The term itself is thrown around kind of willy-nilly, so I wanted to find that right here, right now.
Yeah.
An example of such retroactive canon would be Whisper's backstory. We were introduced to her. We had no idea about the diamond cutters or any of that. We just knew that she was very quiet and standoffish and wasn't really willing to work with people too much. Then we introduce in flashback all the stuff with the diamond cutters and the shadow androids and yada, yada, yada. All of that continuity was established retroactively. Her origin story, planned as it may be, was retconned in, technically speaking. That's not the kind of retcon most people think of, though. I just want to take a moment here to put the trope on the shelf so we can analyze it for what it is instead of just going for the common understanding, the tropey understanding of the trope.
Right.
I feel like retcons are like any kind of narrative tool. They can be used well or they can be used poorly. Maybe you introduce something that conflicts and you're like, oopsies, didn't see that one in the planning stages. Can I go back and pave this over? Is it worth going back and paving over? Or is the act of paving it over just going to make it worse? That's where you have to be careful with the retcon. What are you adding, and does it really enhance the narrative, or is it just covering a boo-boo that might be better just to let it lay? Not everything is going to be perfect. The retcons I'm not particularly fond of are the ones where it's clearly somebody going in to tear out the work of somebody else. Even if it's kind of well-meaning, like, oh, this was a really bad plot reveal, I'm going to go in and change it back. So say, double tapsies, no take-backs. It didn't happen. Even that, it's like, let it lie. Just let it be and pick up and move on. I think one of the most recent one that pops to mind for me was there was a storyline in Spider-Man where there were a couple of new villains, and these were eventually revealed via retcon to be the misbegotten children of Norman Osborn and Gwen Stacy, which is real not great. And their present state was because of the goblin serum, and so they accelerated growth and they were bad guys and blah, 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 blah. And nobody liked it because of various reasons, and all of them should be obvious. And then recently there was a story that, as far as I followed, retconned that further to say the entire thing was a post-hypnotic suggestion and didn't actually happen. And it's like, I appreciate the effort to try to undo the skeevy, but at this point, that storyline was how many years old? Had become how irrelevant? Can we just kind of ignore it and move on? Like, it's one of those things where, you know, if someone said, but it happened back in this issue, and everyone goes, yes, and we all hated it, you move on. It's kind of like the speaking of Spider-Man again, the Clone Saga stuff, where it was revealed that Ben Reilly was the real Peter Parker all along, and there was a switcheroo at some point. Surprise! That's the retcon, and nobody liked that. So it's like, actually, no, that switcheroo was a false flag, and it was really Peter all along. Another retcon to retcon. It's like, just leave it alone. Stop it. Put it down. Just move forward.
Yeah, it's definitely a major thing in comics because of just how often, generally, like, writers pick up a new series starring a character from another series, and then they want to put their own stamp on it, so they kind of retcon certain events, or they read it and they didn't like it at the time, and now they're in the driver's seat, so they get in control, and they get to be the ones to say, here's what actually happened. And then the book ends, or they switch writers, and then it's all back into it's all just it just keeps going.
I also feel like the line gets a bit fuzzy when you have something that is meant as a long-term reveal, something that you're seeding, something that you're building towards. Because does that count as a retcon? Because it was intended from the beginning, you were building towards it, but the information that is being delivered in the timeline of the narrative itself is retroactive. You are establishing material that happened before present events.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess it kind of boils down to how nitpicky you want to be on the term.
By that definition, Belle is a retcon to Mr. Tinker's story in Sonic. So,
and she works perfectly fine. So
yeah.
Long rambling response summarized. Retcons are a narrative tool, and they can be used well if used responsibly.
Yes. And also, it's kind of questionable what exactly a retcon is based on the actual definition of it versus the fan definition of it, the way folks use it when talking about it. So,
what do you think? Are we white? Are we right? Are we wrong? Comment below.
Are we white? Yes. Very. Arguably too much.
Like mayonnaise.
You go outside and you can see me for miles.
It's a hazard for passing pilots.
It's a hazard for anybody.
All right, that's enough of that nonsense. Before we get out of here, we need to give a big thank you to all our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members. Big thank you to Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Robotnik Holmes, Samuel P., Sam Cybercat, Torchbound, Mike B., Dave M., Kublin Crew 128, Salute Your Cat, Andrew D., J. Frost, Duas, Diz, Den, Hero of Light 13, Professor Scruffy, Matt, Ryan D., Chris A., Sony, Noni, John M., Jib, Don B., Yami M., Lee HK, Lisa M., Fiona M., Chevelle, Invade Turbo Tuna, Sonic, Ben Wolfsbane, Keeper of Monsters, Axis, Tick, Scurvy Pirate, Hog, Xanderoni the Painter, Final Neo, Jonathan Dobbs just really likes Princess Sally. The Name is X, Justin S., Solaire, Stain, Nimric, Godzilla, Alex GS, Arc Fighter, Daddler, the Della, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Ava, Arctic, Pedanti Cat, Dove, Quaggle Gaggle, Professor Rybe, Red the Supernamic, Nondal, Cameron H., Chad, Les, Jennifer H., Justin Mountain, Soul, Sapphire, Scarletta, Alphamon or Yukon, Joshua S., Omega Watt, Finest Cacophony, Preston M., Starlight Sec, Jolene B., Sonic 84, Noah S., Kojiro, Highwind, Dapper Shinx, Supersonic Fan, Awesome Cakester, Radry, Chase, L, Ty, H, Callum Q, Twilord, Red Wolf, Nebius, Cosmic Cooking Hunter 77, and Tails, Rusiful, Maddie H, The Disgayan, KJB, John the Real Waluigi, N, Zephyr, Wild 48, Mox T Ranger, The Marble Gardener, Owen BD, Vlad of the Stars, Chaos Sonic 1, Miles the Prower, Navarre, Exidel, Agent Kaz, Forest Sonic Fan, Puppy the Scholar, Rhythm Raccoon, Miggy Sawdust, Pig Dan 20, Ty Cyan, Lewis J, Michael P, Delta God 77, Curly Q's, Ozjam, Shimmy M, Angela V, Fang the Werehog, Caswell, Mr. Murderbird, the Giant Murdering Bird, Stupid Ugly, Triforce Riku, Classic Sonic Nova Polyduo, Chaos Shadow, Timon B, Thievius, Smiley 21, The Flower Garden, Sammy S, Lacey M, Unlikely Veronica Phi, Sterling Sonic, They Made a Vow, Their Mother Will Be Found, Jube, Conga, Shakira Law, Rocket Man, Windskull, Dolontai, Sky the Desu, Supernova, Endabanda, Superior Pizza, Sonic Patch, Tetsunai, Thigolf, Crowbo, Sonic Mania 2099, Hadronis, Nils, FMS Draws, Alex Arts Here, Zay Cartoonist, Verdragon 5, The Internet Person, Scourge Time, Peter M, Buttered Noodles, Miles Prower D, Frost the White Lion, Danny the Light, Ryuko Shion, Meta Mode, Wheels 282 Hedgehog, and Jamal S.
Wow. Outstanding. Just so many people. Incredible. Thank you all.
That's going to wrap us up, so be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
See you then.
We ran out last night, and while I'm waiting on Lee, I take my phone out to browse it, and I'm like, no.
Uh-oh.
Focus.
Uh-oh. Oh, boy.
But I was also, really hungry and tired at that point, so I'm fine. I don't have any issues. I don't have a prescription. What are you talking about? I'm infallible.
Yes, of course. You don't need to see. What do you need to see? There's nothing interesting out there.
No broken bones, no cavities, no braces, no glasses. I'm immortal.
Uh-huh. No cavities?
Nope, never had a cavity.
Really?
Yep.
I don't understand that concept at all.
I don't either, because the amount of sugar I've consumed over my life, you would think.
I mean, I have pretty healthy teeth, but I've had plenty of cavities. But, I mean, every time dentists look at my teeth, they're like, yeah, they look pretty good, all things considered. It's like, all right. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. How are you feeling? Can you see yet?
Yes, my eyes have finally gone back to normal, thankfully.
Okay, good. All right, good. Don't burn them out staring at your computer all night, though.
You don't know me.
I mean, that's my job. I'm supposed to do that. I'm supposed to sit here staring at the screen, editing BumbleKast till the end of time. Nah, it doesn't take me that long.
I do have a prescription for reading glasses now.
Oh, for
I don't
reading?
know if I'm going to spend the money on them, but...
For reading glasses? Huh.
Apparently, my left eye is just so much more dominant than my right eye. That's causing some issues. Also, I'm 40, and I spend most of my days staring at a screen.
That's my case, too. My right eye is fucked. Bad. Not great.
I really did resist the urge to ask the optometrist if I could qualify for a monocle. Which I also had to resist of not calling it a monocle. So.
Yeah.
2 monocles.
2 monocles. One for each eye.
I'm very surprised if they both pop.
Yeah, my right eye is, it could be better. My left eye is okay. My right eye is kind of... I'm old, I guess, now. 36, man. That means
I
I'm
can
old.
get by with like the cheapo drugstore reading glasses for now.
Well, I wear mine to be able to see 3 feet in front of me, so I take my glasses off. I cannot read the screen, so.
Glasses are expensive, so I'm just going to wait on that for now.
Yeah, I probably need new glasses too. Actually, I know I need new glasses, but yeah, they cost money. Oh well.